it's so simple. Be kind and be nice. And people like to affiliate with people whom they think will enhance their careers,
Hmm.
people and companies. So it's great if people feel like the person they're talking to will enhance their career and their image and also the company. And that was what I thought was a perfect fit.
Welcome to the Profit Share Mastery Podcast with your hosts, Linda and Press McKissick.
Hey there, David Morse here. I am so excited to invite you to the 2022 Profit Share Summit that Linda and Press McKissick are putting on. It's going to be an amazing event on October 6th, and I hope that you are blocking out the day. Hey, I'm excited to speak to you along with my good friend Dana Gentry about attracting agents into your profit share to develop and grow your wealth. This is an amazing opportunity for you to learn about agent attraction and how Dana and I have utilized social media, podcasting, and all kinds of various methods to attract people by providing value. Hey, you may not know who I am, that's okay, but I had the opportunity to work with and lead KW Maine to becoming the third most profitable market center in the entire world, profit sharing over $1 million per year back to our associates. I want to share with you how we did that through attraction in the digital space and how we're doing the same exact thing at KW Arizona here in the Southwest region. So I want you right now to go to www.profitsharesummit.com, get registered, and block out the day because it could just be the life-changing wealth-building method that you deserve.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Profit Share Mastery. I'm Linda McKissick.
And I'm Press McKissick.
Hey, Press, how are you?
Hey, Linda. I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm so excited. I have to tell you, we have one of my favorite of all time favorite people on this podcast today. And I'm so excited because, in our formula, Press, we teach the recruiting formula is relationships plus your validity plus what is someone else's value gap over time. And I think there's no human that really amplifies and is a great example of relationships more than this woman. So Kay, we welcome Kay Evans today. And Kay, if you will, I always like to say you were born and then what happened, Cliff Note version.
Well, I was born in a very restless person who likes a lot of activity and likes to keep moving. And I I just came up and I thought I was going to be a school teacher, and I taught high school for 1 year, and then I decided that wasn't for me, and I started looking for something that would feed my restless spirit, I guess you'd say. And I got into real estate. And boy, that work well, because as you know, it changes all the time, and there's no way you can get restless, or there's no way you can get it all done. So it was perfect for me. And I did that in 1978. So I have a few years under my belt in real estate. It was in Lafayette, Louisiana. And then the market died there, which, hey, haven't we all been through that? Interest rates went up to 18, 22%.
Wow.
And I moved to Atlanta. I just went where the grass was greener in terms of real estate. And I came into Atlanta with, I knew two people in Atlanta, maybe one. But I came in with such excitement that great things were going to happen for my family there. And Glenn and I moved, and we were unemployed. He's a builder, so he bought some lots and started building. I was unemployed, but I was looking for the right real estate deal. And, I came in expecting that to be great, and it has been the greatest thing. I mean, great opportunities just fell into place for me in Atlanta. And then the greatest of all was when I joined Keller Williams. I was with other real estate companies. I was an educator in the state, ran a large real estate school, and worked with all the brokers. So I just had a great career. And then Keller Williams came along, and boy, has that been good. So, and I
Well,
guess,
I hear a story of how we used to ask a question. I can't remember exactly how the question was, but when we started building things, we would ask someone, who do you know that if you were going to make a dream team, or if you got this person, everything would change. And
Right.
I don't remember exactly how it was, but I'm sure somehow Bob said that to someone and your name came up. Tell us how that happened.
Well,
How did you get recruited to Keller Williams?
well, first of all, I want to tell you that Keller Williams came to me 4 years before I actually joined, before Bob was even in the picture.
Yeah.
And I had just started a major project with a company, and I just wasn't in a position because they bought my vision. It was an entrepreneurial project I sold to them, and I was going to be their marketing trainer to the real estate community. And I just couldn't go back in and say, hey, I found a better opportunity. So I couldn't do it then. 4 years later, they had not come to Atlanta, and Bob Kalinsky had purchased the region and came into town. And he tells this story that he just talked to vendors, he talked to title companies, he talked to mortgage companies, and he talked to real estate agents and said, I would like to find somebody to partner with. And he said, and please don't say that I'm saying this, but he always tells it this way. I talked to 15 people and 14 of them said Katie Evans' name. And I've spent all these years looking for that 15th person who did not say my name. Because
that's the one that's what you remembered, right?
Exactly. Isn't that the case always? But at any rate, he came and called on me, and Bob and I had a lot, we had this in common. I didn't know him, but he was from New Orleans, and I've lived in New Orleans twice, and being originally from Louisiana, if you love New Orleans, there's just a spirit there that you just, you gravitate to the same thought process. And so we hit it off there. And also I felt that Bob had complete background to do this. I mean, he was general manager of a major company in New Orleans that I was familiar with. I even had my license with that company there for a while. So he brought that aspect, and he had opened a Keller Williams office, and but he knew no one in Atlanta, and Gary gave him that assignment to go and find someone who knew the Atlanta market. And so that would make, and I do think that people going into a market they don't have any knowledge of are up against a real uphill battle unless they find someone who can help them do that. Now, Bob had all of the how-tos with Keller Williams, but he had no people.
Yeah. So how do you get, Kay? How do the people listening get 14 out of 15 people to say their name?
Well, you know what?
How do you get that to happen?
I always hesitate to tell that, but Bob tells it, and to be honest, it thrills me every time he does, and I'm like, wow, how could that happen? I would say that, and I always tell people, regardless of what you're doing, maximize every opportunity that you have. I mean, do the very best that you can do so that other people notice, and you establish yourself as a leader in that capacity. So I had turned 2 offices around in Atlanta that were failing, and also a real estate school, and I had taught all over the state. So my relationship base was very large. The other thing I would say is you can have a very large exposure to the public, but it is really simple. Mo always tells us this. It's so simple. Be kind and be nice. And people like to affiliate with people whom they think will enhance their careers. People and companies. So it's great if people feel like the person they're talking to will enhance their career and their image, and also the company. And that was what I thought was a perfect fit, because I was in the I was always trying to help people build their careers. I was always trying to be helpful to real estate agents. So I had a lot of relationships, and I cared a lot about them, and I got a lot of people. The other day, Linda, I went to look at a brand new condo building that's going up in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And just as a professional courtesy to the company that is marketing it, they called and asked me if I would come and look at it. And I walked in, and the guy who was in charge of it said, "Oh my gosh, I got my real estate license under you 28 years ago." And so it's that kind of thing. Whatever you do, maximize that opportunity, and remember that people, you have to make people feel good in those relationships. You do. You just, I'm amazed at agents who get in, conflict with the other agent. Somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose, and it's just, it's your opportunity to really build rapport with your clients, with people out there, establish yourself as a leader. Just maximize every opportunity, and guess what? You won't have to look for opportunities. Be very kind. Have people wanting to say, gosh, you might want to talk to Susie Brown. I had a great experience with her, or some, whatever. She's a leader in the community. It's not about selling the company always. The person who is doing that, because that's how you got where you are. You are admired in the community, and it is. Relationships are so very, very, very important, and I just had a lot of those from just my background, where I had been, in front of people training. I also say training, and by the way, there's a correlation with you here too. You train people, and if you do a good job of that, they look up to you and they want to be in business with you. My lucky, I call this great. I had a break. I managed a really upscale, I was a broker manager of a really upscale company in Atlanta that had really great people, and I was able to go there and spend 4 years, and I recruited a lot of people there to that office, and it was a very admired real estate company. I had left there by the time I did Keller Williams. I had been away a year, but what really solidified this for me was when I left, a group of 4 agents said to me, and they were leaders in the office, "If you ever do your own company, call me." So that was what the first call that I made was to that group of agents. And when they agreed to come, it was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be serious, because these people were all influencers. A lot of people kind of go after, just think it's how many people you have in your downline. It's not really that. It's who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this story that I tell. If I can tell it quickly, I was watching television, and my family is really a sports family, and so I was watching a group of NBA players being interviewed, and the interviewer said to them, "Okay, you are given an opportunity to have your own franchise, NBA franchise. You have an opportunity to recruit Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, or Magic Johnson. Who would be your first recruit?" And I was really impressed with the people who said, "I'd recruit Magic Johnson because everybody likes to play with Magic." People need to be viewed as people who are that everybody likes to play with. And these 4 people, for me, were like that. I mean, they were like, oh my God, they were what we call head turners. So I really had that lucky break because I had kept a relationship with them after I left. And when they threw that out 4 years earlier, if you ever do your own company, call us. Well, and when they came, truly, it was a head turner situation. Getting appointments was not hard for me, and I'm not bragging. I'm just being very honest because of the relationships that I had made like through the years. Now, there are people who will tell you that I can be tough and hard, hard in a situation. I'm not really always I'm not always a pushover and deal, but I'm always trying to do the right thing. And sometimes I end up, being with people and I take a stand and they end up not liking me because of that, or they end up respecting me because they know it was the right thing to do. But I just say that every person you meet is an opportunity for a relationship. And it's not about, see, in the early days, and you probably remember this, a lot of people were running around just regurgitating facts about Keller Williams and without any credibility to them personally, and always focused on profit share. But you know what? Keller Williams is so much more than profit share. It is so much more. And I have things that I've heard you say that I have used when I have talked to people. And I've heard you say this, and it stuck with me, and I've said it. You have to quit worrying about what you're doing to someone when you introduce them to Keller Williams, because you're really doing something for them.
Yeah.
And you have to look at it, that way. But I think personal validity is important to me. Don't say it if you don't do it and you don't believe it. But we have opportunities every day to grow our sphere of influence and our credibility. But people step over opportunities to build a platform. I talk about our platforms. Life gives us platforms. And every platform that we have ever had in our lives is an opportunity to move to a higher and bigger platform, or either fall down below. And so if you perform well, if you're wrong, say you're wrong. If you're wrong, just say, I'm sorry, this is what happened. What would you like for me to do to correct this? Or, whatever. But please always maximize your opportunities. I learned that from my mom, and she said that.
Speaking of your mom, one of my greatest highlights, Kay, is when I was in town teaching for you, and you took me to see your mom, but she really had a real busy social schedule. So we kind of had to, you brought her, you picked up her cleaning, or you took her cleaning, I can't remember, but she was like real busy that day. She had lunch with some friends, and she was, there was some kind of fashion show.
She was like almost 101 when she died, but honestly, she was a role model for me because she worked in a boutique, which thus my love for clothes. She worked in a boutique, and she had such a following, and she did lead generation when I didn't even know that was a word, When the store was not busy, she was on the telephone calling her regulars and telling them what had come in, and come by and have a cup of tea with us or coffee, and and see. And then the other thing she did that I just marveled at, there were two big high schools in the town, and when they announced the homecoming court every year, she immediately got on the phone and called all those girls' mothers and said, hey, congratulations, Sally's on the homecoming court. I know exactly what she's going to need to wear for that, so come on in. Everybody was trying to hire her in town. Everybody wanted to hire her. So, and that's what she taught me. Whatever you're doing, make the most of it. really, really get out there and make people notice. And honestly, she could have worked anywhere she
I
wanted.
love that. I love that because, I have a boutique in town and I get aggravated if I go in and they're out of my size. And I'm like, why didn't you call me?
Yeah.
And but because people think they're doing something to you instead of for you. So
Yeah.
I'm going to wrap us up here and I'm going to say, here's what I've learned from this, press. And if you have anything you want to add, number one, Bob did not give up on Kay. She couldn't come right away. He didn't pre-decide that she was too important and wouldn't come, and he didn't give up. Life gives to the giver and takes from the taker. Kay's a great example of that. My friend Joe Polish says that. Kay's always been a giver. She's always taught, which created her validity. And she was in a leadership role that created validity for her. She put in the time with those friends. She stayed at it long enough until the relationship with them so that when the time came right, she could invite them to come. And I wrote down from her mother, always call me when you have something good for me. People want to be called when you have something good for them.
Yeah.
Chris, would you add anything
Well,
to that?
you took the main ones. The last one I would just add is that influence matters, validity matters.
It
And
does.
when you live your life in such a way, to the things you said, Linda, you're a giver, you're a teacher. Kay, one thing you didn't mention, but I'm sure it would show up. You probably lived your life in a lot of ways outside of your comfort zone, meaning you did things. I think a lot of us try to live within our comfort zone, and going out and teaching, for a lot of people, that's outside their comfort zone. So I'm sure at the beginning, when you started doing that, it might've been a little bit outside of your comfort zone. I think when you live your life the right way and you show up, and you perform well, like you said, you're a giver, you're kind, you're learning based, and you're a teacher. All those things add up to equal influence. And that influence is what helped you be in the right place at the right time to help bring KW, and we didn't mention this, the Southeast region is now and has been for a long time, the number one region inside of all of Keller Williams. And Kay Evans is one of the absolute top profit share earners within our company.
Can I close with one story about one of those? Thank you both, Press, for that, and Linda. But we just lost one of the 4 members that came over with us from that company originally, who was so respected. She just passed away during this past year, and very sad. But look at what her family got in her profit share.
Yes.
She came early. She was an influencer, so she had investment opportunities. It's an amazing story.
Yes.
Of course, we are sick that we lost her. She had brain cancer, but her family, I don't know what they would have had or anything, if she had not taken that leap, because she was one of the early ones, and she did have profit share, and they inherited that. So,
and the cool thing is, that's why we say in our profit share mastery course, you're building profit share while you're changing lives.
Yes.
And that's the best part about this, is how good can you feel, Kay, that you led those 4 people into something that will be a legacy for their families, and you feel so great about.
I feel wonderful, about that, and I try and thank them all the time. I try and find ways to show my appreciation to them, because truly, I think their influence is really, if we had started with, not major influencers, I don't know that we would have been where we were. So I never forget to say thank you to them. And we're really close and really tight. And we take trips together and, do all that kind of stuff. But it's been a blessing to they will tell you they have lives that they never dreamed that they would have. They started, that group started our office that you'll see very high. It's Peachtree Road office in Atlanta. They started Sandy Springs, which is, major league performer. And then they became investors in OP, one of them, of Peachtree Road. And those are 2 of our top performing market centers. They saw the opportunity, they trusted me, and I would do anything before I would let them down.
Yeah, love it, love it. So if you want more information on our Profit Share Mastery course, go to profitsharemastery.com. We also have some amazing websites that Press and Josh and I have put together to help you recruit all the great new people that are like Kay Evans in her beginning year of her career, that you might get a Kay Evans in there. And so be sure and check us out at profitsharemastery.com. And if you have not, please hit subscribe below. And please, 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 this podcast drops on the 21st of every month, our favorite day, right, Kay?
Yes,
and,
it is.
It drops on the 21st.
And by the way, congratulations to you all for all that you've done. I mean, you've been my role model. Linda, I quote you all the time. There's no question about it. So I admire and respect you so much. And I'm so honored that you asked me to do this for you.
Well, I appreciate it. And be sure and share this podcast with any and all other KW agents. We need more people thinking about the great gift that they can give people by introducing them to Keller Williams and building their profit share and leaving a legacy like Kay's friend did. So, Kay, thank you, Press. Thank you. I'll see you next time. And Kay,
Can I just mention their names? It's Jennifer Barnes,
yes,
Lisa Pinson, Marilyn McAllister, and Jill Flynn were my first 4 recruits.
Awesome.
And the OP had told me, he said, we'll never get anybody from that company because they're happy there. And I said, oh, don't think that. And when I called him and told him 4 were committed, he was beside himself. So go for it. Shoot high and bring influencers in. That's what it takes.
Yeah. We tell everybody in our class, never pre-decide, because we all have a story where we pre-decided and then they eventually came under someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Thank you all for having me. You've thrilled me because I just got back into town and this is like getting my feet wet again. So thank you.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. Have a great.
Bye-bye. Love y'all. Thank you so much.
Bye, Kay.